There'll be food and drink and ghosts. And perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
Have you ever wanted to watch a crappy 80s horror film about a muscular demigod slash demon that terrorizes the Irish countryside and pees on a guy at some point? First of all, if you do, come here real quick. What the hell is wrong with you, man? But also, boy, do I have the film for you. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Dunwich Manor. Today, I'm talking to you guys about Rawhead Rex. Rawhead Rex is a 1986 creature feature adapted from Clive Barker's short story of the same name. A very important statement I must make is that, especially in this case, you have to separate the original short story and graphic novel from the movie itself. The short story and graphic novel that followed are really excellent and great stories by themselves, and they're quite different from the movie in quite a few ways. The story seems to have deeper themes, or at least it explores the present themes a lot more in depth, while the movie kind of abandons that and goes for more of a fun creature feature, almost kind of slasher type film. With all that being said, I actually love this movie. It's a really fun movie. Again, it's not like top notch or anything, but it is a really fun thing to watch. I've seen it, I think I've watched it 3 times this week. It's not going to be anything incredibly deep or special, but it's definitely one of those movies that you can just turn on and have fun watching and then forget about it. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at it. The film begins with a scenic little drive through the Irish countryside following a guy named Howard who's an American photographer. He's currently visiting Ireland with his family so that they can go take pictures of religious artifacts for some of his work. Howard's played by David Dukes, who unfortunately passed away in 2000, shortly after starring in Stephen King's miniseries Rose Red. Unfortunately for everyone in this small Irish countryside, a farmer is trying to remove a massive stone monolith from his yard. And I gotta say, one of his buddies that's helping looks suspiciously like a gnome. I don't know how that's relevant to this at all, but I just noticed it. After the farmers worked on the stone for quite a long time, it gets struck by lightning, which happens to topple it over and releases the film's antagonist, Rawhead Rex. The way he jumps out of the ground with all the lightning flashing in the background is actually pretty cool. It's just a really sweet visual. Meanwhile, at the local church, Howard is talking to a pretty unfriendly priest about parish records. During this conversation, he notices a stained glass window depicting what appears to be what we now know as Rawhead Rex. The stained glass window appears to show Rawhead being subdued by something, but it's kind of hard to tell what it actually is. After Howard leaves, the priest touches the church altar, which for some reason gives him this really weird vision of Rawhead Rex, and then apparently drives him insane. This seems really weird and random, and it's not really entirely explained at any point in the movie. I guess some later scenes do give it a little bit more context, but that's all you really get. Next, we see Rawhead terrorizing a pretty sweet couple, where we learn some interesting stuff about him. First, we get a freaking awesome face reveal. This has to be one of my favorite creature designs ever. There's something super metal about it. We also learned that he eats human flesh, has retractable claws, and he won't hurt pregnant women. Quick side note, in the next scene we see Howard and his wife on a walk, and just look at his wife's outfit. Now, I am no good at style. I wear whatever. But that has got to be too much yellow. I mean, she's out here looking like a hairy-ass minion. Later, we go to a trailer park where Rawhead Rex has decided to terrorize the residents.
Don't be sorry for this. I'm gonna get you back, dickhead.
You and whose army?
You little pig.
I swear the Irish accents in this film make everything better. A couple's out walking when Rawhead brutally kills the boyfriend, so the girlfriend runs back to the trailer park to warn everybody. Meanwhile, Howard's in the area having a smoke when he sees Rawhead in what I honestly think is probably the scariest moment in the film. The howl and then the image of him standing on the hill with a severed head is a pretty chilling sight. At this point, the body count is stacking up, so the police start investigating and trying to figure out what could be doing all of this. Howard quickly realizes that he recognized Rawhead Rex from the stained glass windows in the church, so he knows that he's most likely dealing with something demonic. With all this chaos, Howard and his family decide to leave this little countryside and instead head to Dublin. Soon they have to stop and pull over to let their young daughter go to the bathroom, and unfortunately, while Howard and his wife are supervising their young daughter, Rawhead seizes the opportunity and eats Howard's son Robbie. Way to go, little girl. Your brother got eaten because you couldn't pee by yourself. Enraged and grieving, Howard goes back to town to tell the police that he's taking matters into his own hands, because now he has a score to settle with Rawhead Rex himself. Howard once again returns to the church to look at the stained glass window to see if he can find any clues on how to defeat Rawhead. After studying the stained windows, Howard realizes that the glass wasn't arranged properly.
I knew it. That's it. It just didn't fit.
What?
And finds out pretty quickly that some kind of figurine was used to defeat Rawhead last time. At the same time, we see that Rawhead is still terrorizing the trailer park and is killing a ton of people. The police arrive a little late to the scene and Rawhead has already moved on. The chief inspector of the police is caught off guard and hypnotized by Rawhead Rex, causing him to blow up and burn not only himself but also the entire police force. Honestly, the inspector's actions here remind me a lot of Damien's nurse in The Omen.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you!
Now towards the end of the movie, we get the very weird scene where Rawhead is baptizing the crazy priest, which unfortunately for us means that he is peeing on him. Yep, there's just a scene of Rawhead peeing on a dude in a graveyard. The worst part is, you know, there's somebody out here that's like really into this. It caught me so off guard when I first saw it. I mean, there's no way you can predict that happening. Rawhead tears apart the church that the priest is at because he hates the church and its religious symbolism. Howard hears about this attack and heads over to the church to try and face Rawhead. When he arrives, he finds what appears to be the same figure that was thrown in the glass window, and the church's now broken altar. Assuming this is what he needs to defeat Rawhead, he holds the figure over his head like the window depicted. Luckily, Howard's wife had followed him to the church and picks up the figure herself. The figure starts lighting up and affecting Rawhead, and Howard realizes that it had to be a woman to actually use the figure, which plays into the theme of the original story. After an excessively long light show, the figure's powers destroy Rawhead and decompose his body, burying him once more. But right before the credits roll, we see Rawhead pop to the ground, showing that he's not quite defeated and he could in fact one day return. So that was Rawhead Rex. Again, it wasn't the best movie of all time, but I really enjoy it. In fact, right here, I have the 4K that Horror Gang actually gave me for my birthday. So big shout out and thank you to him. I'd say it's worth checking out. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's a fun creature feature with some really good effects here and there, but also like really bad low budget effects here and there. It's a really strange mix. But I'd say it's definitely a unique film that you should check out. Definitely worth watching 100%. If you've already seen it, please let me know if you liked it. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.